3, 2, 1. All right, guys, we got Azryel here. He's coming out of the ANZGC Alliance. He just moved there recently, if I do remember correctly. You know, had to go. I'm assuming that Pills just bullied you into it. You know.
It was Heinze.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
He offered me so much. He offered me unlimited kegs of beer, so I had to go there.
Oh, so he sent you the Fosters that Mopil sent to him.
It's a round robin basically. We're all just passing it along.
Just regifting it.
Yeah.
So last time I think I was on Heinze's with you. You were in a really cool position in GAC, and I don't know what the culmination was, so I got to ask you about it now. You were going for top 10. I think you were sitting at like 8th, going into your last fight of the season. Did you manage to make the top 10 there, or?
Was this just a few days ago, or was this a while ago?
This was a while ago. I don't know if were you in that position again?
Yeah, I was, but the one we were talking about when we were together, that was when I had my main account going for Grand Arena 3 versus 3, which was like 8 point some million, over 8 million. I went into the clubhouse number 2 in the world. I finished 16th.
Oh.
After I was the highest account, and I was the only 8 million account in the top 25, but everyone ahead of me was like 6.1 million or less.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's sort of how it goes in Division 1. It's very strange. So one of the things I noticed specifically in that kind of Bus 72 kind of mold is that like everybody who gets that top 10 up there, they're all running like the super ridiculously lean account. No Zetas, no relic levels. They may have a Galactic Legend or 2, but never 3. It's never that kind of an account, and it's always like, I know it's always weird because it's one of those where you're like props, for getting up there, but at the same time, it's like you're just beating up accounts that can't box with you. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of those accounts, like I'll study them, and the issue is like even like a player that's 8 million has relic 7s or 7.5 million. So even a bad modded DR team I might take on, I can't solo gas it. Those guys are like taking 11 teams, they're doing 7 solos with one character. There's no way I'm ever going to beat them.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I notice is like where I'm at GP wise, I'm in a weird spot. So I'm lean, but I'm not like mega lean. So I'm like just under 2.1 million in my top 80, but I have 2 Galactic Legends and 81 or 82, actually 82 today, G13. So I'm like, but most of my opponents range from like 90 G13s to like 40 G13s.
Oh yeah. Well, we just finished 3 versus 3, and Bus and JD, who were 1 and 2, neither one have a Galactic Legend.
Yeah.
And they're both 5.4, 5.5 million. So.
Yeah, and their top 80 is really low. It's like 1.7, I want to say, something like that. And that's pretty nutty. It's like, I definitely don't like the scoring in this sense, because there's no like, when you go against somebody who's good, right? Like I recently matched up against Max Deviations actually, and I was like, oh fuck, are you serious? And he's like Shadowlands legend for what he can do in GAC. He's just incredible. And I lost by 4 banners because my finalizer is 6-star, not 7. That's really why I lost. And I'm sitting there going like, man, that was incredible. And even though I lost, people are like messaging me like, dude, that was incredible. Like you basically had him, like.
Well, yeah. Well, and then like I'll even admit something. I don't mind it, but Partrick AF from Call Patrol, he is. I talk to him occasionally through DMs and stuff, but I actually retired from the game for about 3 months just with the holidays. Yeah. I got COVID and stuff. I had some family stuff, so I actually didn't play like October, November, and December, and I came back in January. But when I came back, I was been in his Grand Arena every time, and I mean he's one of the top players. So he's always up there, and his account's like almost 9 million. So I was like, okay, I need to stop this. Like I don't want to play him every single round. So I just did like 5 relic 7s and dropped like 3 Zetas to move my GP up. And like, so I messaged him and was like, hey dude, I'm sorry, but I had to escape you. And he was like, He's like, okay, whatever. And I was like, yeah, sorry, man. He was really nice about it. And he's a nice guy. Like, we'll chat with, during JC and stuff, just because, I've been with him, Michael, for a couple months, it seemed like. But I'm watching him now, and that's the plan.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's those kind of matchups, though. Even though they're going to be shitty for banners, and you may lose and all this stuff, but they're so fun. Like, you're just like, oh fuck. Like, you're planning extra hard. You're going through. You're like, okay, what am I showing him? It becomes that second or third layer of strategy where you're like, okay, he's going to go through my history, or he knows my history well enough. He kind of knows my tendencies. I'm going to have to try something different this time, or something like that. Where, like, it was. Like in the matchup with Max or whatever, he changed completely what he did, like completely. And the crazy thing is, so did I. And so we ended up doing like we ended up basically flopping our strategies. So like he did what I normally do, and I did what he normally does. It was.
That's what when I was going for. I told everyone like I was going to go for it on 3 versus 3 one time on the big account.
Yeah.
And that whole month, I was exhausted because. I studied people. I made a just a simple spreadsheet, and you're like going through their history. You're going through stuff like what do they do. But then there's some people will try to be called like a kind of like a straight ticket voter. They do the same defense every time. So you're even thinking, do I want to gamble? And do I think that they're going to do it again?
Yeah.
And you usually gambled right, but man. It's heartbreaking when you lose by like 1, 2, or 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, well,
it's
kind of one of those like when it happens, and you're sitting there going, well, could I have changed anything? And like there was like one fight that I thought I could have done better, but that's about it. Like it was like I don't think I could have gone cleaner. Like and I think that was one of the things. We had a pretty epic one where I had to like throw Darth Revan. I had to throw a Vader lead with Darth Revan and I think I used Sith Empire Trooper or something like that to kill his JKL because I was like, I don't have anything that's going to kill this. The only way because I didn't have all of my Darth Revan with me. So I was like, the only thing I have that's faster than his Shock T is Darth Revan. So I'm like, if I can get the fear out, then I can actually win that one. And it was like, and it was one of those ones where like everybody in chat, we talked about it for like 30 minutes before we did it. Like we did a couple of fights in between. And, I remember like a couple of people were like, just use Darth Revan lead. I was like, no, I think we need that 30% offense. It's like we need to keep those dots on, like.
I remember being 11-0. I was fighting Jax from One Step of Insanity for the second time, and I couldn't get him on Discord because he had taken a break from Discord, and he had attacked, and he obviously knew I was ranked number 1. I was number 1 pretty much the whole way because I was collecting feats, and he attacked, and it came down that I needed a 65 on fleets when it was negotiator versus negotiator. I needed a 65 to beat him by 1 point. And I remember going into the guild server and was like, okay, someone needs to help me here and tell me what I need to do because like this is. And one of the guys had given me a video, basically using two reserves, and basically came down into killing Houndstooth at the perfect time and then summoning in Ahsoka to finish Anakin off. It was kind of a strategy I hadn't been using.
Yeah.
And it worked, and I got a 65. And I beat him by 1 point in round 12.
God, that would be a heartbreaker. I had one where I won by 1, and the guy messaged me, and he was like, "No." He's like, he's like, I did the math. I thought I had it, and he's like, I had the fleet going in there, and then all of a sudden you hit that AOE after I brought in Plo, and I was like, you son of a bitch. I was like,
yeah, I mean, it's brutal. It's brutal, especially if you're like 9-0 or 10-0 or something. I mean, then you just throw your hands up and you're done. I'm gonna get Kyber. I'm done.
But it's really cool, the intensity of it. So like because I had recently moved up to like a big guild as well. It's like now like Territory Wars is so different. It's so much more fun. I'm not even like it's one of those where I'm like, I'll get like a message. They're like, do you have your blah blah blah? And I'm like, yeah. like, okay, you need to come like run this. Like we need to clear
Yeah,
this last team.
because you guys are probably doing hotbot reporting and all
Oh
that
yeah,
good
oh
stuff
yeah,
too,
yeah.
so yeah.
So, and it's interesting because like my trial by fire was like the first one I get into. They're like, all right, let's see what your mods are. Okay, you can't do that, can't do that. You can do this. This should work. You should do this. And I'm like, all right, cool. And you're like, you can try that. I'm like, I've never tried that before. Yeah, whatever. We'll walk you through it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, so I kind of did the opposite. You kind of went up there, and then now, I'm down in the, we're a competitive casual situation, playing at the high level, and having a break and coming back for 3 months, and uh, you definitely set your priorities straight. And I mean, I don't even mind saying these numbers, but I'll give actually hard numbers from when I left to the first full week after I left. My iPhone sent me a message that said, "Hey, congratulations, Azryel. You are down 88% screen time per day."
Yeah.
And it went from 13.4 hours a day to like 1.7 hours or something. And and it was just crazy, like what I accomplished like during that time. No joke, I got my girlfriend moved in with me. I did all kinds of stuff because I had so much extra time,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
one of my friends who I've been playing with forever, he just retired, and he messaged me the other day and it was like, Az, you weren't kidding. He's like, I cleaned my cellar. I bought a big old 85-inch Samsung, ultra 4D crap TV. He's like, I redid my man cave. He's like, this is great. And I was like, I told you, dude.
It is kind of funny. Like when I went away for the weekend and I couldn't, I just did like the bare minimum and I wasn't really checking in or anything like that. And then, it's interesting. I'm like just sitting there and I'm like, I don't have anything to do right now.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know, get a beer or something.
Yeah, I mean, I still try to, even I kind of got accustomed to that. And I got my girlfriend living here, and she has 2 kids, so that's new to me. So
Yeah.
I do have a threshold of what my what I say screen time I would say per day. So that's why I like. I still want to have fun. I'm still going to be competitive, and GAC is something I can be competitive at any time. There's no requirements of me going and saying I need to be on at this time, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's where my focus is turned to. Whereas before, I was up in the top, top 5 guilds and stuff. Chasing territory wars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Still like territory wars. Still, serious about it. But 3 Zetas to 2 Zetas. I'll choose my battles these days and take the time over wanting one more Zeta mat.
Well, see, that's the funniest thing. It's like I came from a guild where we won like consistently all the time, and then this one we're like 50-50. But I get to try so much interesting stuff. Like I get to try new things with my roster. They'll be like, all right, well we're gonna try modding this way. We're gonna try this team against this one. We're gonna see how that goes. We know it works. We just don't know the consistency. So we're gonna go see if we can use this as a thing. And like that for me is what makes it so fun. Like that's
part of like the guys too, like all the testing and seeing all that hard work pay off. It's just it's awesome, and then that brings the whole team together, and everyone cheering and stuff like that. It's always good to see those come to fruition after you've put all the hard work in.
Yeah, we'll have like 10 guys in voice chat, and we're all watching it, and like like the person gets Ray down or something. You're like, hey, there we go. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, they get a little intense. So.
Yeah. But it's been an interesting thing. So your focus shifts more towards GAC. We just had that 3v3. Do you do anything different for 3v3 that you don't do for 5v5 or vice versa?
I do way better at 3v3 than I do at 5 versus 5. Not that I could not do great at 5 versus 5. I'm way more interested in 3 versus 3 because it is a thinker's mode, I should say. In 5 versus 5, I can go on YouTube and find any account of any team pretty much that I can think of, you know.
Yeah.
Where in 3 versus 3, you really have to think, you know. Well, what's this going to do? What's that going to do? And the counters are a little bit tougher, so the mods play into it. And
I think the mods play in a lot more in 3v3.
oh, I, I would 100% agree. I mean, there obviously be some people out there that disagree, but uh, it for me, if you know, if I get a matchup like where you have 120 speed mods, and in 3 versus 3 someone has 30,
Yeah.
it's going to be really tough for that person to win, especially if the person's actually modding properly. The top person.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things I noticed is I can fade. There's like I can fade about 10 or so more 20 plus 20s or something, depending on how they place them. But it's like when they start, I think I faced against one guy where I think the only reason I really beat him is because he was like very long term free to play, so I had him beat on G13, so I beat him on the low end of my roster, because I could just like, all right, well I've thrown you a full defense of relics, man, make your way, and he split his roster, and so he just like some of the medium range teams really caught him out. But like some of his high end modding was ridiculous. He had I think 15 plus 25. So I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like it, and and like I said, it's mostly right now for me just the timing. I can play it when I wake up. I can play it, and I don't have to be on at 2 or 3 o'clock when the zone's open.
Yeah.
So it's
that is one thing that I did like. I did one where I didn't stream when I was away, and it was so nice. I waited for the guy to attack. He attacked, and then I just cleared like his front bottom. And I went and did some stuff. Came back and had to think. Like I left like
yeah.
I was like I had some lunch, went for a walk, all that stuff. Came back and I'm like, all right, I got 3 hours to clear the bottom, the top and the back bottom. Let's do it. And it was like, man, like normally I'm always attacking first because I stream at night, and I'll have a cocktail and then I have to get everything done, so it takes me a little bit to think about it. So it'll take me like an hour to 2 hours or something to work through a defense, and then usually the guy's fucking waiting and he starts attacking me like right when I finish. Like that kind of thing.
Historically, I'm a person that just attacks first. Now, I mean, obviously, I can change that, but it just depends on what you're doing. But I kind of like just to get it out of the way and kind of putting a number up there. Like that's the number you got to beat it. And there's no clock on me because you have a 0. So my number's set. Come and get it. And
Yeah.
And there's train of thought. Would that be is maybe they take a chance they didn't really want to try to underman something, or maybe they use a counter that is not ideal and they lose or something to try to eat some banners. But that's normally what I do.
What I normally find, because like I said, I usually attack before my opponent. What I've found is the opponents that attack before me, they tend to kind of go, well, what's the lowest I can beat this team with and stuff, and they'll do it that way. But sometimes, if I've one shot your board and I've done pretty well, like you'll get guys like overkilling the shit out of a team that doesn't require that, just because they're like, I can't afford to lose. And if he's got nothing back there, oh my god, and yeah, so you do see that a little bit. I mean, I love going through the history and seeing stuff like that. I'd be like, oh my god, he went for a slacker solo there. Like, oof, what did he have for the back? Oh, nothing. Okay.
Yeah. I had an interesting one this time. It was the second time I played a gentleman, and we in the last round we both got the idea to set malevolence and negotiator. So I think I had. We tied 4 total feat battles of pleats. So, and I was just like, I wanted to message the guy and be like, "Come on now, really? You did this too?" So.
Well, yeah, that's definitely an interesting thing with the fleets. I'm feeling like there needs to be another fleet into the game, and I think it needs to come soon, because there's only really 6 available. And
Yeah.
I mean,
I would agree. Like another either so maybe another capital ship, but I also think you could just get a first order tank and it
yeah.
would change everything up.
Well, that was kind of what I was talking about. I've been going on about that for a while. Like if they had a first order tank and a resistance tank, and all of a sudden those fleets would become a lot better, especially if that first order tank had some sort of cleanse mechanism. Like
Yeah, and
maybe it reinforces and does a plow and cleans all, does basically the plow effect on reinforce. Like that would make that fleet very good and competitive against everything. Um,
oh yeah,
it wouldn't be overpowered. It would be because it can still get pretty like torpedoed, but that would give it a little bit like there's no recovery in that fleet. There's no cleanses in
yeah.
that fleet. Like they just kind of rely on the heal on crit, and that doesn't really cover it. So I'm thinking like that would be the big one. And then
Mhm.
resistance, I don't know. Resistance could be
Well, I mean, what if Resistance had like a manless tank? Like, and here would be my thought. I don't want it overpowered, but what if it just had pre-taunt?
yeah, that'd be pretty gnarly.
And it doesn't have to be super overpowered, or or gain taunt easily. I mean, with the Radis having that deflector shield and stuff, it
Yeah.
might be hard to get, or or taunt couldn't be dispelled. So, like, let's just say the Millennium Falcon couldn't easily just beat that thing. Some kind of mechanic.
Well,
It doesn't have to be super overpowered.
it's like consider that like Slacker and Ray have been in the game now for a year, right? So
Hmm.
maybe they get them both a ship.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't really know. That'd
like
be.
like that could be an interesting one. One of the things I kept thinking of is a way that they could bring the the Razor Crest into the game. Is you get it's a weird idea, but give Newt Gunray a cap ship.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, because he could be scoundrel Sep, so he could work with Seps if you want, but he works with
Hmm.
scoundrels, bounty hunters, and cargo ships. So he has the cargo ship synergy. So then
Okay.
all of a sudden you get the Razor Crest in there, and that's bounty hunter cargo ship, and you can run the Falcon and the Ebon Hawk and all these kind of like wayward children ships.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that
that'd
could be
be
pretty
cool.
cool.
There was I saw on the like the Make Star Wars Great Again server. I know they just renamed it, but there's been the data mines has been going on for years and years and years, and I saw two people actually talking. I think last week there, or maybe 2 weeks ago, about um, ships that were uncovered that had never been released, and one of them is Yoda's ship,
Yeah, yeah. Master
like
Yoda's Jedi
Yoda's
Starfighter.
B2, yeah, Starfighter or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't remember what it's called. Yeah, that's what it's called. Maybe that's a tank. I don't know. Maybe they'll never release it, but I mean, anything would help out right now because um, we're at the point now where you can reliably set the two best fleets, and then your first order can take out first order can take out one of them, and or Empire, and then the rebels, as long as they're geared, can beat any fleet.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're kind of getting to the point where it's super duper stale. And I have like in Fleet Arena, I have like I think Relic GK and maybe Relic 8 someone else. And like I'm not in really super competitive Fleet Arena, but I'll go from like 9 to 67 overnight.
Ooh,
I'm just like,
Jesus.
what in the world? Like,
That's a hell of a drop. Holy crap.
yeah, I mean,
I don't think I've dropped out of top 20 in like 2 years, something like that.
oh, that I wish that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I think my worst was 18 since I got the
Mm,
negotiator. I think that's
yeah.
yeah. But you hear about that kind of stuff. I mean, the question is, what are they going to do about Squad Arena? Like now that everybody's got just Galactic Legends hanging out at every orifice, like
I have no idea, and like it's just like I cringe. Look at Squad Arena. If you looked at my rank on Squad Arena right now, I think it's like 44 to 46.
yeah, I mean, it's ugly because here's the thing. Like, I was so gung ho to get General Skywalker and why I skipped Sith Empire before he got released. I was getting ready for like the next meta, making sure.
Mhm.
and because I was running Padme and I was doing like taking 2 hours to run 10 battles again, you know, beating Sith Empire with Padme
Wow.
every fucking day. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was really funny. It's like when I got General Skywalker, I think I got him because they released him so condensed. I got him on the third comeback or something because they brought him back like 3 times in like 3 months or something, 4 months or some shit. You know, it's like the shortest meta in history. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna get him, gung ho, just full into it. And then I get him, and I'm like, oh, he gets beat by Sith Empire. Cool.
Well, the other thing about the thing about Squad Arena is if the teams made sense,
Yeah.
then I would like that. But like now, it's just like, well, I'm gonna throw all these characters from every different faction together, and then a Galactic Legend, and it's gonna beat everything.
Well, yeah, you see it. It's really funny. Like now, you know, my Squad Arena, it's like there's always somebody who has like the Armorer, Thrawn, you know, Han Solo. You know, it's like, okay, cool. Like it's just like just threw everybody in there. Cool.
And I'll do crazy stuff. The other day I was running Sith Eternal Emperor, Relic 7 Armor, Watt, Hermit Yoda, and L3. Why not, right?
Yeah, and I bet you it worked just fine. Like,
you can auto anything on offense 100%.
That's crazy.
Because I mean, at the very end, your C will have a tank tech, he'll have Beskar armor, and he'll have Master's Trading.
Yeah, which is just mental. Like, it's one of those. It's like you know, you look at it, you're like, I think I might need 2 Galactic Legends to beat this. You know, like,
you can't kill him. There's no possible way of killing him. Like Rey will whirlwind him like 3 times, and it won't even do anything to him.
That's actually got to be so fun. Where you're just like, oh, watch this, bonk.
I don't play. I just auto it. I open it up and go auto. Goes.
And it just kills everybody.
Yep. L3 is so when I fight Kylo, he'll attack him first.
Yeah, just get the poke on L3.
Yep.
Oh, that's crazy. So, yeah, it's a weird one. So I keep looking at it now, and I'm like, my arena is starting to catch up. I think there's Galactic Legends back into the 60s or 70s now, and I'm sitting there thinking about it, going like, well, if there's 60 to 70s now, when those new Galactic Legends get dropped in probably 2 to 3 months, that's going to take us. But I bet you're going to be looking at top 100 all have a Galactic Legend, and then it becomes one of those is like, are they going to make them so that those ones can climb and hold? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, that's not designed for that. But
yeah,
well, I have, the new mode Conquest is coming out. I don't really know what to expect out of that. I don't think there's going to be character shards there, but maybe like Relic 8 materials or something. I don't know what's going to be there. They said there's going to be a new store, your endurance, probably to refresh your characters and stuff. But I'm hoping, along with Conquest mode, we get more characters. I normally don't want more characters all the time, but they put so much time and effort into the Mandalorian tags.
Yeah.
Like the Mandalorian tag, and the Mandalorian suck. Sorry for everybody that's listening to think they're good. They are horrible. I have all the Mandalorians Relic 7.
Yeah.
Every one of them. And maybe no, I don't have Canderous. I think he's like 3 or 4.
Fair.
But they're not. They can't beat anything.
What people have been telling me is basically that they feel like Beskar Mando is almost like the Prepared Team Mark II. And that's kind of disappointing because it seemed really cool, but it's also like Prepared. Prepared seems really cool, and it's can't really kill anything, but it seems really cool.
Yeah, that's actually I didn't even think about that. I actually had forgot about the Prepared Team. Young Han, young Chewie, Vandor. Yeah, I remember that, but man, that was really bad.
Yeah. So it's sort of what I was thinking with Beskar Mando, and it's really funny. Like they were really trying to hard push people, like go spend and get Beskar Mando, and you're like, let him kill stuff.
You're totally right. I didn't even think about that. Now that I'm sitting here thinking, I mean, there could be cool things like if they brought like Bo-Katan in and like Sasha Banks, or that'd be cool.
Like,
But
I definitely expect Darkseid, either a legendary or epic confrontation or something, to come soon before the next GLs drop.
yeah, I mean, I hope something comes.
I think it'll be like 3 or 4 weeks before they start hyping up the next GLs, because they're going to want people to spend. And the ones who aren't spending, they want them to start spending hordes. Like, spend your
Well,
crystals.
I even think that
gear.
I think that the troopers with like Piet is really good.
Yeah.
Moff Gideon's really good.
Yeah.
I think the Dark Trooper could
Would
come
be
in.
amazing.
And I don't know if it's going to be a Galactic Legend killer, but I think that they can make it good enough, and you could mix and match that they could make it viable at least.
Yeah. I mean, you can kill Galactic Legends troopers. Just Sith Eternal.
Well, see, yeah. And that's a whole nother disappointment. Like, he's like the 9 movies or whatever. He's the ringleader behind everything, and he's squishy.
And the funny thing is that Sith Eternal is both the worst and the best Galactic Legend. No,
that's absolutely right.
He's like so fun on offense, and you can send him in one character and basically kill almost any team that's light side, and he's just fun. But then you put him on defense, and it's like he's built out of fucking like wafer candy crackers or something like that. Because
yeah, that's crazy. Hey, sorry about that. That was my mom calling, and she did the mom thing. When you call, you don't answer, she calls you again, and then calls you again, and then finally text you. I'm like, Mom, leave me alone. I'll be back in an hour.
Like my mom used to do that. I actually actively told her, I'm like, if you need to talk to me, text me. I will not answer any calls at this point, because she would just call over and over and over again. I'm like, I'm fucking in the grocery store. Just let it go.
And then if you answer, like on the third one, or if you don't call her right back, and then you call her back in 5 minutes, you'll be like, Mom, you called me 3 times. Well, I just thought you didn't hear it. Well, maybe I was busy, Mom.
Yeah. And then you go, no, I was just busy. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I just, just text me. Just text me, and if I can call you, I'll call you. Just say, can you please call me? And I'll do that. And, she almost gets it most of the time.
My mom.
My mom's always like, "Oh, it's so nice to hear your voice. I haven't heard it for forever." And I'm like, "Oh my God, here we go."
We just talked yesterday, Mom, and so heard you say that.
Yeah. It's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. You messaged me 47 times on Facebook yesterday. I thought that kind of counted."
Mom, I just left your house 27 minutes ago.
You get the moms. Get like that thing where she makes like an amazing dinner, and you have it and you leave, and then she calls you later. She's like, "I'm sorry, dinner was so bad." I'm like, it was great. I had seconds. What's wrong?
Or this has happened a few times. It happened recently. It's like, I live about an hour and 20 minutes away from my parents, and they live in my hometown. I live in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
And I'll go back there, and like, I remember I was one town up, about halfway home, right? And I get a call, and I answer it, and I'm like, "Hey, Mom, what's up? Did I forget something?" No, but I was thinking, I needed XYZ. I forgot to ask you to pick it up. And I'm like, "Well, are you asking me to do it now, or are you just telling me you forgot to ask me?" "Well, where are you at?" And I'm like, "Mom, I'm 50 minutes away from your house. I'm not getting you whatever you want. Go do it yourself. Love you. Bye."
Yeah. Like, I'll tell you what, I'll order it for you to get it delivered. That's oh, bless. Yeah. So the rumor is you're going to be starting your own stream soon, getting your grand arenas on Twitch here.
Yeah, I think it's something I want to do, and I've dabbled with it a little bit before, just with like a journey guide and stuff. But I think I really like Grand Arena, and I think that there's a market for like higher developed rosters and stuff, that not a lot of people are doing it, and I think that people want to see it. People
Yeah.
want to. There won't be a time where someone says, "Oh, if it was our 7, we would have won," or something like that. Stuff
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen.
yeah.
Yeah, I follow a lot of streamers and stuff, and I think it'll just be, it'll be fun, and it won't be serious. It'll be something. Let's just have some fun and see what happens. So, but I'm
Yeah, yeah.
excited to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to get another like giant roster out there to kind of get some more footage of that and such. And I'm sure you'll probably end up showing some counters and stuff that most people don't see very often, which I think
Yeah.
is pretty cool as well, because you'll have obviously the roster flexibility to throw just about anything together and still have a decent
Hmm.
defense, and be able to kill all the teams on offense, which is
Yeah.
pretty handy. Like
Yeah. I'm under no NDAs from any guilds or anybody to not expose any counters, so I'm just try to win.
It's like I will use everything in my toolbox.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's definitely something I do think about. Where I'm like, I'll be practicing like a counter or something. Be like, this is really cool. I wonder if I should make a video on this. And I was like, ooh, I wonder if I should make a video on this. Let me see what they
Yeah,
say.
well, you're in an alliance now, or you may have to ask.
Yeah. It was one of those. I'm like, well, if I use it in Grand Arena, like they can't really get mad at that, can
Someone's
they?
going to use it, and someone's going to find out. So
Yeah.
it's just it's so with everything now, them publishing it and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's so many people streaming now that I think kind of everything, especially 5v5. I think everything gets put on YouTube and stuff pretty quickly.
Hmm.
There's always somebody who has either the idea or sees somebody else do it in a stream, or get someone says something about it. Like I've seen some interesting counters and stuff when we're practicing things, and I'm always like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to keep this quiet. Like, but that was cool. I kind of want to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I hadn't seen one like without, I haven't seen the counter being secret since a little bit ago when I was in TI Blue, we had a counter to Ray, the Purse Brothers, R2, and Malik,
Yeah.
and the people that made it basically gave us modding and didn't tell us anything about it. We didn't know what it was for. It was just, we need everyone to do this. And then in our match versus Mall 1,
Yeah.
we got to the back 2 zones, and it was Ray, the Purse Brothers, Malik, and R2. And that's the team that had just beat Maul the week prior when they played Call Patrol. They had so much trouble, so they took the team and they set it versus us. And I'm not too sure that Call Patrol knew we had a counter either. But we started melting them for 20. And one of the guys in there, I'm just Hoth Patriots, he's a buddy. He was in TI with me for a long time. He messaged me and was like, what the F on this? And I was like, what are you doing? And when I was like, I mean, the brain trust thought of something. And then obviously, like 2 days later, someone used it in Grand Arena and it got published, and they knew we were using Han in there and all that stuff. So the cat was out of the bag, but I can't think of anything besides that in a long time where someone was able to hold a major counter to a team,
Yeah. Like it's kind of funny because like it's not something that's ever really been discussed, like whether I can or can't make a video or something. But so part of me is like, man, well, if I make one, I can just show it to the guild and be like, either we can use this inner guild and for to help people get it, or if it's too old of a counter or something. Because there's some that I've seen where I'm like, oh, I know that one's okay because I've seen somebody else post a video on that. So like, the cat's out of the bag.
Well, now, I mean, right now, everything's out of the bag. There's nothing, there ain't nothing no one doesn't know right now.
Yeah, and that's kind of another crazy thing. Is it goes back to the you want more characters thing. There hasn't been a major shakeup. I mean, in months. I mean, even adding great players like great characters like Gideon and Armorer, like that really hasn't changed the landscape too much. It's made C a lot more viable on offense, but that's about it.
Yeah, and like the thing that I see that's even happening a little bit without going into all of the secrets that I want to divulge here right now, but I think that I'll give you one that I did. I took Ray to Relic 8.
Yeah.
And what taking Ray to Relic 8 did for me after I looked at it, and I didn't have any guidance. It just kind of like just the landscape here. No one's using Vader on Ray anymore.
Yeah.
You know, not in Grand Arena. You know, so why does she doesn't need tenacity right now?
Yeah.
You know, she's got high tenacity already, but you can easily get her above 100. You don't need to like stack her for 180 or something.
Yeah,
or whatever.
like one cross or one subset, and you've got over 100% tenacity.
So I stacked her. Went to Relic 8, and I put an offense set on her with a crit avoidance arrow, and stacked her with health, and with the extra offense from Relic 8. I mean, now she's, when she's going to do her ultimate or do a whirlwind, sometimes doesn't kill someone with an offense set. Your clock is shorter if you're trying to fight the team now.
Yeah.
Whereas before with tenacity, I mean, you could eat some whirlwinds and stuff, but when you move her up into 10-5, 11K offense, and you're like, oh man, she's gonna hurt some people.
Well, that's actually something I noticed in the arena, because there's only one guy running Ray in my arena shard near the top, and sometimes he'll be his payouts reasonably close to mine, that sometimes he's in the top 10 when I'm climbing, and I like trying different stuff against Ray. And I remember I went in with my JML or whatever, and Jesus, Ray was doing some big hits, and I'm sitting there going like, what the shit is going on here? And I went and I checked his modding, and he had her for offense and health. And I mean, it was it was like something like 10K offense on her or something like that. And I was just like, Jesus. Like like the first ult or whatever almost killed like half my team. I was like, what the?
Yeah, that's what I did, and that's you just get your opponents, and I study the modding and with the opponents. And I saw someone use an offense, but they not exactly what I wanted to do. But I thought offense, that's a good idea. And I did her. She was my next Relic 8, and I was like, oh, okay, now I got an idea. Let's do this.
Yeah, and
it's worked out well so far. I mean, so.
And with that team that Solo Bases uses on offense, that Bastila and Hodo with Ray, I mean, a Relic 8 Ray with offense, I mean, that's going to melt shit in 3v3 and get you like 53, 52 banners, 54 maybe. Like, that's crazy. Like, to think you can roll up against, like a Slacker, and you take him out for 53 banners or something like that, 54 banners. Like, dropping Ray for 54, 53, it's like, oh my God, like those are the two hardest to beat on defense. And like,
the Ray, obviously you have to plan for Ray being on defense, so it's just like, but there's it's just the way. I've just dabbled into some Relic 8s. I got like Kylo for the raid, and I got Ray, and I have Luke, and I'm moving on to some different people, but there's definitely some characters out there that where you can really, I have my eyes on a few, like, like one is Bosk. Like I know that he's not like high up there, but I'm just sitting here thinking in my mind, like, man, how much better would his ship be? And if he just can take one more hit.
That could be the difference in the battle.
One turn. It's a major difference.
What I was just thinking about when you brought up Bosk is I was like, all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm like, if you went Relic 8 on Django, Bosk, and Boba, I mean, you're killing meta teams right there. Like pretty consistently. Like the amount of damage and stuff, able to go around the taunts, no revives. You've got all the recovery if you go Bosk lead, if you've got the speed advantage. If you don't have the speed advantage, you go Django lead, and you're just like getting the turn meter from Mando, and you've got Grief giving you counterattacks, heals, cleanses, all this shit. Like, all of a sudden that team is like, you don't put a Revan on defense if they've got bounty hunters like that. Like that would be bad. That would be very bad usage of your Revan.
That just goes into another level of killing stuff. I mean, that's a great cleanup team. It's Revan. It has lots of lots of options right there. I know the CLS team is like super popular to set on defense now, and I think all facets of TW. Not everyone does it, but a lot of the guilds are setting the CLS, Han, Chewie, 3-Pac.
I always laugh when I see it, because I'm like, all right, cool, what's the fastest one you got? Because I have a really disgusting set on my Han, and I'm just...
you're just mirroring it,
Yeah, I'm just like, all right. I'm like, I'm gonna get 20 banners right here. Watch this. Okay, this one is their fastest. All right, I got this one, guys. Don't you worry.
Well, like a lot of guilds are. I mean, people may not know this, but a lot of guilds are using GG to beat it.
Yeah. And then,
So I know GG kind of fell out of favor on defense, certain levels and stuff, and there's GG that can beat it, and it's very labor and mod intensive, and knowing what to do exactly at every single moment, but you can just 20 it the whole way.
yeah.
So
And that's pretty crazy too. That's like one of those ones where you're just like interesting, and they kind of counterfoil because with Chupio there. I mean, you can. People are probably gonna be shaking their heads, be like, no, but like I've done it. You can smoke a Grievous with CLS.
Oh yeah,
like
that's what's funny. You can it's either way. Do you know what I mean?
It's
and
20 banners either way you do it.
And CLS is such a Padme counter too. But if you're like a human playing against the AI, I can crush a CLS team with Padme.
Yeah.
Because I know who to hit and what to do.
But it's just funny. Like it's funny like how that all works out. That kind of counter to the counter kind of thing. Sort of like when Grievous, when G13 came out, and Grievous was suddenly like, oh, you can definitely take out Jedi Revan with Grievous, and they were doing it that way, right? And meanwhile you're like, well, how do I kill this Grievous? Well, I better Jedi Revan it. I always found that so funny. It was like on offense you use it against it, but if they're on defense, then you're going to use it the one that they're killing on offense on defense. Like that's.
What is your favorite arena team you've ever had, and what arena team do you loathe? Like, what arena team when in your Star Wars career have you hated the absolute worst? Like, make you want to like throw your phone against the wall.
Jedi Revan.
That's the one you hate.
The one I hate.
Or no?
So I ran Jedi Revan until I ran Padme. So I love Padme because for me Padme was a puzzle.
Okay.
So with Padme, I adjust the mods, I adjust the strategy, I can kill anything in the arena that I could see. Didn't matter if it was General Skywalker, Sith Empire, Grievous, whatever, I got it. Jedi Revan though, it was great. Like I came up with a really solid Jedi Revan counter to Sith Empire. Actually, I think I got recommended one variant of it was recommended by a guy called Cal Drogo in Clones Unleashed, actually. And then I dialed in my mods and my development and made it like a really consistent Darth Revan killer, my Jedi Revan. But when other people in my shard saw me climbing to 1 with my Jedi Revan, guess what they started doing? They started going. Not only that, they would go like Relic 7 on everybody, right? Where I was like, I had Relic 7 on Anakin Kenobi, Relic 7 on Yoda, and then I had Relic 5 on Jolie, Relic 4 on Revan, and that was like my team. And so all of a sudden you'd get like the full Jedi Revan team, but all Relic 7, all like, Jolie would have like 150,000 health or something like that.
4-minute and 52-second mirror matches.
And here's the craziest part: like there would be certain ones where the turn order came in where I just half the time I wouldn't beat them. And it was so I wouldn't. It wasn't the Sith Empire that were sitting in the top 20 or top 30 that I was afraid of. It was the fact that I had to get from like 50 to 30. Ruined my climb. It was just like God.
Oh my god. So for me, my favorite arena team, I would probably say, oh man, I super like JTR.
Okay.
Like she's not my favorite character by any means, but I really like JTR. My second one would be like old school wigs and whoever has the fastest Stormtrooper Han wins. Like that was fun back in the day. But the team, there's a clear number one team I hated the worst is Triple Cleanse, which was Rex Lead, GK, Chase, and Darth Nihilus. Number one, GK, unless you were in a tank guild, you didn't have him.
Yeah.
Gear 11 or Gear 12 or Gear 11 at the time.
Yeah.
Chirrut was a tournament character. And then Days, they put out. But oh my god, I hated my shirt. I hated certain people in there that had their teams, and you'd have to come up with your own teams like Rex and Boba Fett, and I didn't have Chirrut. I had Baze, and then you'd have to put. It was just I had a 5-star Kenobi, not a 7-star. Oh my god, it was the worst time ever, and it wasn't just for me. I can only imagine how many other people were frustrated with that team, and that team pretty much dominated until JTR or CLS came out. I think CLS came out, but then it still was good, and then obviously they started adding more Zetas and stuff like that, and kind of went away. But that was a nightmare.
It was JTR was before I started. Like I started during the during the Jedi Revan kind of meta. And so it was interesting. Like I remember the one time I had my Jedi Revan, and I was, I just got him to G12, and I had like Yoda at G12, and so everybody was just kind of like G11, G12, and I didn't have Kenobi because I just wasn't there yet. I had Ezra as my 5th. And he was G12 or G11 at the time. But I remember seeing a JTR, and I asked in my kind of like Noob Alliance chat, I go, does Jedi Revan beat JTR? And they're like, oh yeah, no problem. And I got absolutely smashed because they went first, and then they just kept going. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, I'll get a turn.
Yep.
Any second now, I'll get a turn. and I remember losing, and I remember being like, I'm never fucking attacking that team ever again.
Well, we used to use that in TW like a long time ago in Team Instinct to counter White Revan, a certain JTR team, and the JTR team I was referring to would be right before Holdo came out. You were running Thrawn as your 5th, which just made it, and you blazing fast Thrawn, and you're just fracturing someone after BB-8 went, and then you're just like, oh man. And,
that would absolutely work really well when you think about it. It's like Thrawn will go really quickly, and then you get the fracture out, and then JTR's already moving. You get those exposes because you swipe away someone's tenacity, and then you start laying those exposes out, and then that could spiral really quickly.
Yeah, it goes. It's just you can control because R2's stunning, and then you got one person stunned, and then you got one person with health block, and you got this JTR swiping, so she's still in your turn meter. It can get out. It can get out. Now you've got Darth Revan and stuff. So you put it in context about what was going on at that time. You could get out of hand real quick.
Yeah. Like it's funny how that kind of stuff works. I mean, like when I first got into the game, the team I wanted the most was CLS. That was the one. And I remember watching video. I was watching somebody's Grand Arena. I was like level 70 or 80 at the time, and I was just about to get Jedi Revan. I'm just waiting for the event to come around. And I remember seeing a Grand Arena where the guy's just smashing stuff with his CLS, and so I watched. I don't know, I think 4 or 5 of his episodes in a row or something like that. And his CLS was just like, I don't know what to do against this team, so I'm just going to CLS it and just boom, 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 boom. Nobody takes a turn except for his team, and he just wipes it. And I was like, I want that team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I skipped Sith Empire to get CLS. I was like,
there you go.
I'm getting my CLS.
Who's your favorite 2 characters since you've been playing?
Definitely CLS. Definitely CLS, and probably I want to say Han. It's just that team. There's something about that team. It is the light side troopers, and it's just so fun.
My number 1 character is Han, so we agree. I mean, number 1 and number 2, I think I like Jedi Knight Luke.
Yeah. Oh,
I like CLS, but Jedi Knight Luke is he's the truth. He's awesome.
I was really bitter when Jedi Knight Luke got announced because of the requirements. That hit me just hard because I had all the get one guys except for Wampa. So I literally just finished Malak when they announced the requirements, right when they had him come the first time. I had just finished Malak, finally,
Mm-hmm.
because I went General Skywalker before Malik, and I had Hoda. Hoda was my first, which is why I skipped on Sith Empire, because I'm like, when
Yeah.
Malik got dropped, I had Hoda at 6-star, and I was like, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. Looks like I'm skipping
Yeah,
Sith Empire.
I would have done this. I would have done. I would have done the same. I would have finished Hermit Yoda and then went
Yeah,
on. I mean, you
because
pretty much have to at that point.
well, yeah, because for the thing with getting Hoda was all about the Sith raid, because once I
Oh
had
yeah,
Relic Jedi and I had Hoda, when I had him at 7 stars, I started hitting like, 40,
phase two.
yeah,
Yeah.
like 30-40 million with my Jedi, and was getting #1 in the Sith raid, and that was
Oh, there you go.
amazing. I was like, this is so awesome. Like, worth
Now,
it.
now two tunes can solo the raid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Which is just Looney Tunes.
uh, yeah. Oh yeah. That's. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. I've always just gas. I don't think I had enough to buy him outright. When he came out, but like, you know.
Well, you know what's crazy is that also gave me a Jedi team that could solo the tank raid. So I went from like
Mm-hmm.
doing, I try to get into like P1, P2 with my Jedi and do decent. When I had Hoda and I set it up right, I had
Mm-hmm.
a Jedi solo team and I could just run right through the whole raid. And that was incredible. It took 25 minutes though. And so every single like tank raid until I got Slacker was me running my Jedi, because I didn't have like the JTR team and stuff. Like I didn't have
Yeah.
the shot clones. So I'm like, I
Oh
was
Lord.
so sick of it. Like getting,
Oh my Lord. I can't.
yeah. Oh, it was ugly. It was just ugly, because it's just,
Yeah.
it's one of those where you just like, you get into P3 and you could fail. So you
Mhm.
couldn't like auto. You had to like play it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
come on. And you can get stuck in P2 if you take too long. So once again, you can't auto it. And if P1 was pretty autoable. Like as long as I would always pass turn meter to Hermit, then put the tech on Yoda, and then I'd auto till almost P2, and then take it over to like finish out the last few hits.
Oh yeah.
And then I had to play out the rest of the raid until P4.
Oh
And then like,
yeah.
it's like, and then P4 you could auto the rest, and you're just like, this is so stupid.
I was talking with now that I'm in a not super high end competitive guild. One of the guys that I started the game with before Line and before Discord is Covell, H Covell. We were joking in the chat, the guild chat the other day, and people were laughing, not thinking we were being serious. Was me and him used to coordinate the heroic Rancor to get Han charts
Yeah.
via in-game chat. It was like, hey Covell, I'm going to Tebow phase 1. Do not attack phase 1. And then you're putting on the banner,
Yeah.
Guild, do not hit phase 1. And then we all went to Line after that. But yeah, I mean, I remember posting in the guild banner, you will join Line. Download the Line app. We need Line,
Yeah,
right
I know
before we
that
started
one, yeah.
beating the tank or whatever. But
Man, I remember, my first, once again, my first solo of the Rancor was my Jedi Revan team when I got him.
oh wow,
And
okay.
yeah, so it's like, that was before I even had CLS unlocked. And then I remember for fun, I was doing CLS solos of it. Like we were waiting to have enough 7-star Hans so we could auto the raid, like.
Oh man, it was like back in the day that was like crazy, you had the Tebow turn meter reduction team and all these things. Oh
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah. Which is,
I remember looking back, I'm one of the admins of the Merc Legends server now, and we have been for a little bit, but we've been cleaning it up, just refreshing it a lot. And there's some archive channels, and I was going back through some of them and looking at when I was beating the tank raid for the first time to get Kenobi shards, and I was just a young guy, just coming up, bugging, Brard Durr and all these raid legends guys, and like, hey, I'm trying to use droids in phase 2. I look, what do I need to do to be better? And then bothering people, or resistance in phase 2 and all the,
Yeah.
it was the
Man,
it
it's
was a
kind of,
different world back then.
yeah. I was just gonna say it was like it's kind of almost like almost better, like because there was more
Mm,
fun in those game modes where now it's just like okay, well they're auto, like now luckily tank is autoed, but it's like oh yeah,
yeah.
it's like oh I have to go solo this with Slacker. I'll be back in a few minutes.
I was pretty late on Kenobi GK. I mean, I'm not super late, but I definitely people had 7-star ones before I started getting 5-star. But then going into the Sith raid, I was part of a community and leading community in our top guild. I mean, we beat the Sith. Our top 2 guilds beat the Sith raid um, the first try,
Oh,
and
nice. Yeah.
then so handily we beat it that me and a few other people went into like our 3rd and 4th guilds, and we were murking them for a few months to help those guys get the
Get the Treya
the
shards.
treasure
Yeah.
shards. Yeah, so it was different. We weren't really late to that, but that party. But
Yeah, that I remember. Fuck, I wanted Treya so bad. Like
mm,
once I started getting like my CLS like dialed in, I was like, now I gotta get Treya. I need
oh
Treya.
god,
And then so Yeti, what are you doing? My cat is attacking things that he shouldn't be attacking. Dude, that's 1 second. I gotta grab this.
okay.
Yeti, that's the same knife, you idiot. Sorry about that. It's like that's an awkward one. Like I heard him pull it off the counter, and I was like, "Are you fucking serious right now?"
Gotcha.
Yeah, but 1 second. Actually, click something. There we go. Yeah. So it was one of those where I was like, "Yeah, I got to get Treya," and I remember I didn't want to like I was in like a small guild or something, and we couldn't do the Sith raid, and I was getting like top 3 in tier 6 or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and they moved me to the next guild up, like moving you up the alliance kind of thing, and then that one wasn't as fun because like I don't know, it was just the newbie guild. Everything was like new and exciting and cool, and there was a guy that helped us beat the tank raid and all this stuff. Like it was pretty fun. And then I went into that one, I didn't like it, so I moved to a guild that was beating the Sith raid like the heroic, like handily, like no problem.
Oh, cool.
And I was just like really excited about that, but I also didn't want to leave, and so it's one of those like things where I'm like I kind of was getting the message that I wasn't going to be moved to one of their heroic Sith guilds for a while,
Yeah,
and
so
I'm
you're
like,
like gonna have to freaking go do it yourself. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, what it boils down to it, the communities are awesome, and obviously I came back partly for the lots of my friends,
yeah,
not necessarily for a community like one over the other, but most of my friends are scattered everywhere. But you think about the thing with Cobell. I mean, think about that. That was 5 years ago.
I
I've been
know.
talking to these people for 5 years.
Well, that's
That's crazy.
it's crazy, and some of these people you've probably been talking to like every day for 5 years.
Yeah,
Like
I've done some traveling. I met people wherever I met people at. I've met people in Las Vegas.
oh yeah,
I've met people. Someone came to my house in Ohio, and I actually stayed with someone in St. Pete, Florida, for a few
oh
nights.
nice.
Became a friend then, and then another person in Fort Lauderdale. I stayed 3 or 4 days down there too. Uh, but other than that, I mean that I there's other people that I know get together in big groups and do stuff like that. It's just crazy to think that and
It's like
one of my best buddies, like like I consider a life friend, like his name's Soul. He goes by the in game just Soul, and like I've never met the guy in real life, so like only we've never even video chatted. We just
yeah,
talk on the phone, we text, we'll be in these groups, we'll talk about life and stuff like that, and like we're like straight. Like if he needed something, I'll help him out. Like in life, I'd help.
yeah.
He helps me out. It's crazy to think, in this game.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those. It's like the game. I think the game is better just because the community is great. Like, it's It's an interesting one because, you know, a lot of online gaming, it's like it's a pretty toxic community, but this one's not
Yeah.
like that. And that's, I think that's probably the reason why we all, you know, stick around, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, and it, just like any other game, there's definitely factions of toxicity through
Oh,
there, and
for sure, for sure. Like there's little places where that'll, you know, congregate and such, but for the most part,
Yeah.
like, you know, I think about it, you know, there's a, you know, for the most of the discords I'm in and stuff like that, when I am paying attention, like most people are pretty cool, you know, like
Mhm.
there's not really a lot of flaming assholes, you know.
Well,
Like,
what the cool thing, I just asked to join your Discord, and everyone else should join his Discord also.
listen, it's like, listen to him, he's a doctor.
Yeah, and but one of the cool things I thought was this, like, so when I retired, I went down to 4 servers.
Yeah,
Now the ones I did want to rejoin, I knew I wanted to rejoin. I had copied the links and put them in a message to myself to, like certain ones I knew I'd want to rejoin. But what's been really cool is to actually go back and start joining the servers that I want to join, because I only join servers now that I want to be on. Whereas
yeah,
before I was worried about, being, not that didn't matter, but recruiting or
yeah, yeah, yeah.
trying to help out a community, or trying to, a community guilds or alliance of guilds, or doing this and doing that. And then, I've really taken a step back and realized that I love the game and I love the community, and maybe I took it serious. And there's definitely things that I would have done different. There's things that I wish would have been done different towards me and stuff. And I think that game at the top end is its own animal, and I think it's easy to get caught up in that top end and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
That it becomes more about that stuff than it does having fun and playing a game, like going on Heinze or coming in here and just talking to you,
Yeah.
And this is what it's about. And 3 months away, I knew right away when I was like, I'm going to play again. I knew what I was going to do. I knew exactly where I wanted, kind of what I wanted, how I wanted to be playing, and just just the direction,
Yeah.
Not saying I'll never go back to a high end guild, because obviously I'm competitive, but like, that's a lot where the toxicity comes from. And and I love all those guys up there, so I'm not saying one person is or one person isn't, but that's where a lot of the driving force of stuff comes. Because let's be serious, and a lot of people in 320 million guilds, they have no idea what's going on,
Yeah.
so it's not coming from them,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's funny. Like, obviously it's like new to the experience, but I have noticed there was a little bit of that, you know, like, you know, eating around the edges and stuff. But like,
hmm
and it's interesting, but it does come back to that competitive side of it, where like everybody's kind of looking to want to get one over on each other, etc. In terms of the guilds
yeah.
trying to beat each other in territory wars and stuff, and you can really see the ones that are taking it extremely seriously and really working on, like, you know, we need to one shot everything. We need 20 banners on every single battle.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't like Faultus, guys. I mean, I was
Oh no,
I was up there forever. And it's fun too, but it was a different kind of fun.
yeah,
And
yeah,
now, I got other priorities in life, and it's shifting and stuff. It's like, now my way of fun is, not spending 14 hours a day on Discord is
yeah.
not where I'm really wanting to be at right now.
Well,
Literally
yeah.
worrying, chasing guildmates and worrying about who did this and who said what. That's over and done
Yeah,
with.
yeah,
I don't really care about that right now.
yeah.
It's more of like, let's just have some fun.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. That's definitely what's going on. I mean, like my streams like that. I'm trying to have fun. So like
Mm-hmm.
you know, I want to do well on one point, and then at the same time, I'm like, I'm gonna have a couple of whiskeys and see where it goes. You know, like.
Yeah, and the good thing of it is like, if you want to relic 8 Tuscan Raider, it's your damn money, it's your damn account, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Your Tuscan
Yeah.
Raider, or your Han. Like, we both love Han.
Yeah.
That's what we should do. We should both relegate Han.
That's
That way.
that's actually not a bad idea. I bet you,
I mean,
like
he's not on my radar, but if we make a pact, I would do it.
it's one of those. It would take me a while to get to that point. I don't have anybody at relegate yet. But God, I mean, that's actually not a bad idea when you really think about it, because he's gonna have over 9,000 offense at Relic 8. With
Why don't we do this then?
With a crit damage set? Like we're talking
Within
big damage.
He will make a pact that he has to be one of your first 5 Relic 8s. He don't have to be the first one. How about if he's one of the first 5, I'll do him within my next 5 Relic 8s.
I can do that. I'm good with that.
Okay, yeah. that'd be fun.
I can't see I can't see a negative. I mean, the Falcon gets
stronger. It's gonna help them win in Falcon too. So there's really no negative in it.
Yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm like, it's gonna help the Falcon, and Han is already just like an absolute force of nature.
It actually could also help one-shot Watt at the very beginning too.
Yeah, that's
certain
true.
Watts.
Yeah, like those Relic 8, those Relic 7 Watts or whatever, all the health stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I like right when you said it, I was like, I actually kind of like that. Like,
I mean, I don't want to do him next, but I know the next 5. As long as you're willing, I mean, we'll remember this hopefully, and then I'll do him, in the next 3 or 4. I'm probably going to do Gas. My plan probably be do Gas and then do Luke, or I'm going to do Luke first, then Gas, and then I'll do Han. And then Bosk or something.
One of my guildies was just talking about that. He did JKL and Gas, and he's like, I would do General Skywalker first. Like, so my first with him with both, he was like General Skywalker.
Yeah.
He says,
I think it's flip a coin. I don't know which one's better. I'm going to do both of them. So
it's funny, like stat wise, I know General Skywalker doesn't get a ton of stats, but when I see Relic 8 General Skywalkers, I mean, they're just.
Oh, they hit like Matt trucks.
Yeah,
I mean, they're machines. They're going to kill some stuff.
Like it's one of those ones where you're just sitting, you're like, I don't know if this is the right thing to do, but I'm pretty sure this is going to fuck some shit up. And yes, it does.
There's a guy in our guild that has, so every, I don't know his name, but I love the guy. He has, this is his TW team, and it gets holds, and I didn't believe it until I saw it. He has. This is a team he sets. You ready?
Yeah.
He sets leader, Kira.
Okay.
Right? Like Relic 1 Kira, Relic 2 Kira, pretty fast. Nest, like Relic whatever Nest, she's Relic. And then he sets all 3 Tuskens Relic 8. He has all Tuskens Relic 8. He has Relic 8. Tusken Raider Relic 8 and Tusken Shaman Relic 8.
That guy's a pure. He's a sick animal, and I love it. Could you imagine if they released 2 more Tuskens? That guy would be doing handstands.
Well, like Tusken Raider is like one of the hardest hitting tunes in the game. You know what I mean?
Well, I remember watching. I remember watching him on Urz, and he was like, he's doing his big shot, and it's like boom. You're like, Jesus, I didn't expect that from Tusken Raider. Like,
yeah, but I mean, this is what I'm talking about, having fun.
Yeah.
Normally, I would have been like, "What are you doing?" But you know what? That's whatever. It's what he wanted to do. I'm talking about doing Han, maybe like
But get this. Consider this. Consider his Grand Arena. Could you imagine his opponent seeing his Grand Arena history? They're like, he sets Tuskens?
In 3 versus 3, it gets holds all the time.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
You talk about overextending, it's probably CLS Han Chewie. You better start the Tusken Raider before he gets going.
I want to see his. Oh, I gotta see his GAC history. I gotta see it.
I'll PM it to you. I forget what his name is, but there.
God,
yeah.
I'm just thinking how amazing it would be to open up somebody's back wall and there's fucking relic Tuskens there. You're just sitting, you're like, huh? And then you're like, what do I use here? Like,
that's not very much data on it.
I bet you money. He's had his Raider one shot a bunch of nests. Like, I'm just willing to bet.
Yeah, I would assume. I know he's got holds because they are in voice chat. They talk about it. I don't know what it was, but I have seen them set it, and I was just like, that is beautiful. I mean, that is absolutely beautiful.
Because here's the thing that's so great about it is just no one knows what the fuck to do with that team. They're just gonna be like,
No, I would probably try to I would probably try to Kira nest it, or I would not use Wampa because he'll get stunned or something. I don't even think. I think one of them stuns or something.
What I'd approach that with is I would roll Trey in there.
let's fire up the old game because I'm actually just curious. I want to misquote on what the lead brings to the table of these questions. Because it's one that I'm not really well versed in. But
I can't say I've ever read it. I mean, I do have a full 7-star.
Without looking, my game's coming up right now. Do you know what lead does?
It's like we're about to fall out.
Do you even have a guess? I have no idea.
I'm assuming there might. You know, I'm thinking there might be an expose in there somewhere.
Right, hold on a second. I have no clue.
Oh, dots. Dots. I'm thinking there's dots. I know Shaman does dots, so maybe there's some dot synergy with.
Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. Hold on, come on. Leader. Oh, so bad. Tuscan allies gain 55% defense, and other allies gain half of that. Let's see his unique. He gains his unique is gains offense up for 4 turns when there's a stunned enemy. Oh, his ability, single file to hide their numbers, is Tuscan allies gain 100% turn meter and speed up for 2 turns. So that's a good one.
That's not bad.
And he does stun on his basic.
Oh, that's actually not bad. Stun on basic. Is it like a full on, or is it like chance to stun?
I just think it just probably is chance to stun.
Yeah.
And then you got Shaman. She just deals dots.
Dots and heals. Yeah.
So they gain offense up. They heal, and then they for each negative stat effect. And then what's this one do? Whenever a unit is defeated, all Tuscan allies gain 25% turn meter and recover 10% of their max health. And then Tuscan Raider. He his basic has a 55% chance of removing 50% turn meter, so it's not that bad.
Not too bad, yeah. Some turn meter manipulation in there.
His ambush is deal physical damage to a target enemy and call a random ally to assist. If the random assisting ally is a Tuscan, both attacks deal 75% more damage. And then strength in numbers. He has 15% offense up for each living Tuscan ally.
I was just thinking, I'm like, what could you do with that team? That would be kind of fun. It's like I'm almost thinking it's like you want to make sure Raider is just going nuts. So I'm thinking Tuscans, and you give him Stormtrooper Han, and I'm thinking Stormtrooper Han lead. Right? Stormtrooper Han leads. So when they start taking damage, they start getting that offense up. And you go...
Yeah. Well, I think you have Tuscan Raider go before because then so he can shoot, and then is going to go and give him 100% turn meter. Yeah. So I mean, and then Ness could have maybe dazed people. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on there.
They're only tagged as Tuscans, right? Like no scoundrel stuff or anything. So yeah,
I think they're just Tuscans. I mean, I literally don't look at these guys, but I think they're just Tuscans. I'm just thinking, no, dark side Tuscans, basically.
Dark side Tuscans. Roger.
There was a joke in guild chat that if they're going to bring legendary Boba Fett out, and he's going to be tagged as a Tuscan.
Yeah, he's gonna be a Tuscan leader. They're gonna be like
Tuscan
Boba
tank.
Fett. Yeah, Boba Fett, scoundrel Tuscan Raider. and then all of a sudden that Relic 8 Tuscan Raider is gonna be like one shot in Galactic Legends.
Yes.
Boom. It's like watch out, Ray. Tuscan Raiders on the patrol. Boom. I could see something funny like that going on. Oh god.
Yeah, that's too much. But yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's all fun stuff. That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, there's I love Pills' his Jawas. If we ever get drawn against you guys in TW, he promised to Utini bomb my Grievous.
Oh, okay, that'd be sweet. And he could video it.
Yeah, yeah. I was expecting many of teasings. Like
I have all Relic 7 Jawas also, so I can
you can grab another team and go Tussin, go teeny bomb it.
Yeah, they're fun. I set them in Grand. I set in 3 versus 3. I set Tusk. I set Jawas
Yeah.
on defense. They eat banners.
It's like how did people attack it? Because that's one of those teams where I just was like, I wouldn't know what to do. Just I've never seen anybody place it.
You just overextend on it a little bit and beat it. But if you do not, and you think, oh, I'm gonna do this, and you leave turn meter on it,
You're so screwed.
It is a train wreck.
Well, it's like those. It's like the bombs and stuff. They're an interesting mechanic. Like one of my viewers who I've run their GAC a couple of times. They're whenever you see like a bug team, they're just like Jawa it, like just use the Jawas. And I'm like, well, we'll see if this works.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So it's like I get a chance to play with the fun team that I don't have.
Yeah,
because it's one of those. It's like a starring thing. It's like I think Shaman you can only get out of the guild currency store or something like that.
Something like that.
It's like I got Aurora and Tuscan Raider out of the Bronzeums, and it's like it's one of those. Anyway, I just looked at the time. We've been chatting for about 80 minutes here, so I should probably let you get back to it, and I can go make my steak because I'm getting.
Oh no, this is awesome. This was great. Went so fast, and we went through all kinds of topics too.
Yeah, I know we were talking about all kinds of stuff.
I threw some questions in there too. I wasn't planned on it, but the conversation was so natural and going. We hit on some questions too, which I thought was cool about best favorite characters and all that stuff too.
That's what I like so much about this format, because it's like one of those ones where it's like, all right, we're just gonna have a chat. It's like, and I always get that the same thing that you asked. It's like everybody asks it to go, do we have any topics you want to touch? I'm like, whatever, anything semi Star Wars adjacent to full on game talk. Let's do it.
So we'll leave on this question. We have to answer our favorite Star Wars movie. So you can't use the cartoons, okay?
Yeah.
Or like the series. So favorite Star Wars movie, favorite non-Star Wars movie, and favorite TV series.
Okay. So full on favorite TV series or Star Wars TV series?
No, TV series. You can include them in that if you want. So
I got to say the favorite Star Wars film. It's really close between Rogue One and Empire Strikes Back, but I got to go Empire because that's what I grew up with.
Okay.
And for favorite non-Star Wars film, this is a really tough question because I'm like a super cinephile. Like I watch tons of films and shows and stuff. So I got to say my favorite film is probably I might have to come back to that one. I want to say the one that I think no matter what is always a good watch and always like strikes me as being such a good film is Shawshank Redemption. So fucking
that's mine. Oh my god. That's what I was just gonna say. Listen, you like, I'm going to the grocery store, honey, and you walk by the TV and you hear, I remember the first time I laid eyes on Andy Dufresne.
Andy Dufresne.
You're like, I can't go to the grocery store for 2 hours and 44 minutes.
You're like, sorry, honey, something came up.
Oh man, and I live really close to the penitentiary too.
Really? Oh, that's
it's a haunted house now. It's actually it is. It's really scary.
That's actually pretty cool. Actually, they made it a haunted house. But that's one of those ones where I don't think I've ever seen it like, just starting. Like if it's in the middle of the film, I won't watch it like sometimes. But like if it's just starting, I don't think I've ever not watched it.
You can't. It's so good.
It's like, oh, Shawshank Redemption starts in 3 minutes. I'm not that tired. Like.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like 100%. That was my movie. Yeah. All right, TV series. What's your TV series?
TV series. I'm gonna say. I want to say The Wire. I think The Wire is like pretty great. There's a couple of TV series that I really love. I really love The Expanse. I think they did that really well. I really, really love True Detective, but only like season 1. If season 2 and season 3 were better, I would have been more into it. But season 1 is masterpiece. So for me, like The Wire season 2, season 3, and season 4 were just such good television, and you're so invested in the characters. For me, that's got to be my favorite series, I think.
Gotcha. So we're really close on a lot, even our Star Wars stuff. So for me, it would be between Rogue One and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi was my favorite when I was a kid, but when I got
Yeah,
older, it was Empire.
but I would say this: if I were to just want to watch a movie and they were all on TV at the same time, I 100% would watch Rogue One. So I
Yeah.
have to say my favorite Star Wars movie is Rogue One, and it's just so good. And then favorite TV series, uh, I'm going to answer one, but I think that I may have another favorite, which is weird. But it's the TV series that it's the first and really only TV series where I like cleared my schedule,
Yeah.
and it's Lost. It's Lost.
Okay.
You know,
That's
I
one.
knew Wednesdays at 8 o'clock. Don't talk to me. Don't call me. Don't tag me on Facebook. Don't do anything because I'm watching Lost, and then you can talk to me at 9 o'clock.
For the only time that I think I've ever had a clear schedule kind of show was X-Files. Like I couldn't.
Oh, X-Files are good. See,
Couldn't
not my
fucking miss
my
it.
my close second would be Bauer Hour 24.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, the 24
yeah.
was a good show too.
Yeah, I actually I did watch. I move around a lot, and so when 24 was starting, I remember I watched like the first season. I thought it was a great show, and then I moved somewhere, and it wasn't. I didn't have access to the show, and then
Yeah.
I never watched it after that. And then I moved to England, and they had different shows on there and stuff. So I missed like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So like stuff like Lost, I never saw it because it just
Oh.
wasn't showing in England when it was doing its thing.
Yeah.
And so when I went to go like, oh, I heard Lost is good. I'll buy that box set and watch it. And I remember someone who loved the show was like, the last season ruins it. Don't waste your time. And so I never watched it. Like,
It's awesome. Don't let them tell you that.
but yeah. So it was funny. I was talking about Rogue One earlier when I was playing BF2 with Grid earlier on stream, and so someone brought up Hoth or whatever, and I was saying that got us talking about Rogue One, and I was just saying like Rogue One. So I saw it. I was living in Taiwan when it came out, and in Taiwan because of the time, it got the film out before even Australia. It was like the first showing ever. So it was before the global premiere in England. So I saw it like 3 or 4 hours before the global premiere, and in Taiwan they have like it's literally a law that a private company can't stop you from bringing something in. So like we brought a case of beer, we had a bottle of whiskey.
Oh man.
Like we went to the Chili's that's in the mall. We grabbed a bunch of burgers and fries and stuff, and like we it was like 5 of us, and we just had like a full on like we were good to go.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, and so as long as it's not disturbing other people, meaning it's like super smelly, like you can eat and drink whatever you want in the theater. So we're sitting there like having beers and whiskey, and we're like watching Rogue One, and we're just blown the fuck away. And I remember like the film's over, and we were leaving it, and we were all just like, dude, that was like the greatest Star Wars film since the original trilogy, like
Yeah,
legit.
for sure.
And we all kind of agreed. And I'm sitting there, I'm holding a half a bottle of Johnny Walker Red, and I've got like, we've got I think 12 beers left or 18 beers left or something like that, and we're just sitting there like, do you guys want to see it again? Like,
Yeah.
and so he just went right back in.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm one with the Force, and the Force was with me, right?
Yeah,
That's just
yeah,
gonna do
fucking-
it again.
Cheer it and
That's
bays, baby.
awesome.
That was just so crazy. And I remember just being like, wow. Like they got that so right. And I was afraid it was going to be bad because they were talking about the reshoots and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And Disney like canceled the first one because it was too dark and warlike. I'm like, I got to see that original cut. Like,
Oh,
can you sell that original cut? Like,
All right, so that's funny.
I want that original cut. Like, can we get the too dark? Can we get like the give me the Saving Private Ryan version of this, please? Like.
So when I'll just last thing before we go, I'll just quick this. So I think I was in maybe senior year in high school, or maybe I don't know when it was, but when Phantom Menace came out.
Oh yeah.
Right. All my friends that like were that age, they all worked in the movie theater, right? And and you couldn't, it was like it's gonna be coming on at 7:20 on Friday or whatever day it was released, right?
Yeah.
Well, we realized that people were out front buying tickets, and all these people were going to do, and we were young and dumb or whatever, and our friend had the keys to the movie theater. You see where this is headed, right?
Yeah. Pretty
So,
sensible.
so we get up there, and we're like, it's like 1 a.m, and we're like, okay, we're gonna do this. So it's gonna be like 5 of us, and we gotta do this. So we get up there, and needless to say, he's got we get into the manager's office, and we find the film, and what they don't tell you is the case it's in. It's like, it's like sealed caution tape. So you're gonna know it. You're gonna know if whatever. So we're all standing there, and I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm not. I mean, we're gonna get in a lot of trouble for this.
Yeah.
And then before I can even do it, our friend Henry just walks over and opens it up. I was like, it's open now.
Yeah, like it's already done. It's already done.
So we watched Phantom Menace at like 1 a.m. the night before, in a completely dark theater. We didn't even turn any lights on but the screen. You know what I mean? We didn't eat any popcorn because we wanted to, they cleaned it. We wanted to look immaculate and just watch the movie, put it back. And Matt said no one ever questioned him the next morning. He said he tried to get there early and get everything set up and stuff. So it looked like he opened it then and stuff.
Yeah. That's actually fucking funny. That's a pretty good cover. That's a pretty good cover. Like,
that's the only way. That was our friend, one of our friends, Ben. I believe that was his plan. He's like, we could just come early, and we're just gonna get things set up to make sure it runs smooth.
Yeah. That's not a bad call. Not a bad call on that one, because once that tape was open, it's like, well,
it's over.
Even if we don't watch the film, we've already done it, so you might as well watch this motherfucker.
That was the plan. So.
Yeah, it's good times. Good times. Cool. With that in mind, my stomach is a rumbling, so I do got to get that steak going.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate it. It was nice to have you drop in chat like that. I was like, oh shit, there's Azryel. All right, how you doing, man? Like that kind of. It was nice to see you. I know. It gets a little bit crowded on Twitch at that time now.
It does. That's a weird time because you're just like everyone's there and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. So there was a while ago where I just was, because I was kind of moving around to not interfere with people and stuff like that. Shifting here, shifting there, and there was a point where I'm like, you know what? Whatever. This is my time. I'm just going. I'm not moving. Like I'm just going. And if they're going to directly compete, then they're just going to directly compete. I'm fine with it. Let's just do it. So now it's like there's like 10 people on my time, and I'm just like, oh.
Oh well.
Yeah. These are the things you got to put up with. It's awesome. Yeah. It's kind of interesting though, because I feel like most streams offer something a little bit different. So. It's
there's definitely different crowds. So I think there's something for everybody. So
100%. Anyway, thanks again for coming again. It'd be really good. People do pay attention in the next probably month or two. We might see Azryel joining us. I don't know if he's picked a time yet or when he wants to go, but I'm assuming he likes to attack early, he said. So I'm assuming it'll be like a happy hour stream there.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. It's not super crowded around that time either. There's so you'd be one of those, you'd be dropping in and getting first crack, which is always nice. And I kind of like going first because then I get to put pressure on the opponent if I can one-shot their board, because then they got to be perfect. And that's when you start seeing those mistakes. Like they're like, oh yeah, he went for the overkill on my front wall, and then he had nothing for the back wall. That's beautiful.
Yep.
He was like, he wasn't sure that was going to work 100%. So yeah, great. We're in a good spot.
Cool.
Anyway, so everybody, I don't know. Have you set up a YouTube or Twitch yet? Or?
I do. My Twitch is just Azryel, but with a 3.
With a 3 instead of the E. All right, so I'll grab a link to that. So if you guys want to give him a little preemptive follow, get him on his way, we're going to put that link in the description down below. If you guys obviously haven't followed me on Twitch, you should probably do that because you're following me on Facebook, so you might as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the Facebook yet, the YouTube. Why am I saying Facebook? The YouTube, and you're watching this, you should probably subscribe. That's pretty a good idea. Come back and listen to what we got going on in our next Strat chat. And I hope you guys have a fun week off. We're going to have our GAC starting up next week, which should be a lot of fun, as we should be getting 5v5 again, which is like, oh. Anyway, yeah, exactly. All right, guys. So take care. Thanks for listening, and have a good one.
See ya.